Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to the Castle Theater at the Maui Arts and Cultural Center. So you're about to see the Youth Poet Laureates perform up here. If you have phones, can you just put them on? It's me, that's why. So if you have a phone, can you silence your phones? You guys can, clap after each poet if you want. Just keep it brief, no shouting, and enjoy. And we're going to get started here in a minute. And this is going live to the world on YouTube and other stuff. So, not yet, but let's show them how Maui is on great behavior. All right, thanks everybody. Mahalo.
O nauna I ka hala me ka lehua e hale lehua noia na ka noe. O ka unoia e ano I nei e li anei ho I o ka iki mai. Ai ki mai no o go ai ki puno me ke aloha. Aloha e, aloha e, aloha e. Aloha, everyone, and welcome to the Hawaii and National Youth Poet Laureate Commencement. My name is Dr. Maura Persh, and it is an honor to welcome you on behalf of the Maui Arts and Cultural Center and Urban Word. To begin our show today, we're going to start with the incredible 2022 Hawaii Youth Poet Laureate, 19-year-old Kalehua Fun. Can you please all make some noise now for Kalehua? Give it up for the poet.
The first time I heard Oli, I went home in goosebumps, unsure of what was happening. The first time I met my best friends and saw my family out on the front lines next to me, a shiver ran through my body, trickled down my backbone, reminding me of who I represent, sending electricity as if awakening in me those I came from, that of which I come from, that of which I stood for, all the Hawaiian history that I am a living manifestation of. Watch as my people stand in kapu aloha, hear as my people Oli and Ue feel. They tell our Aina to fit in this mold. Tell her she is not pretty enough, not worthy of our love. Tell her day after day to be something else. Oppress her and turn her into something she never meant to be. Aloha Aina, with intention, is knowing you carry a lineage, a succession of stories in your backbone. Standing on the front lines, no questions asked for the places that we call home, is assimilation in what is needed to survive. Adapting to your surroundings but being able to thrive. It is inspiring others in that thirst for more knowledge. Aloha Aina is a love you can taste, see, hear, smell, a touch, a home you can miss. Let your roots run deep. Aina plentiful that when given the space to breathe, she sings. Oceans surrounding us on all sides, she's refreshing and all we ever need in healing. It's on the calm and serene days that I feel music playing while I hear children laughing at school. Fact, we learn science Every day outside in the environment, we learn agriculture and how to mitigate flooding. We knew sustainability before anyone told us what it was. We are the remnants of all our ancestors. We are the next wave of consciousness and enlightenment. It's no surprise when some days the tears of our Aina sweep homes away. It's no surprise when her foundation suddenly gives out, when the ground shakes and the earth moves, because we have become spiders crawling down her back and fleas eating at all that's left of her. In a sea of corruption, our elders teach our children how to swim, and our children teach us how to paddle alongside them. But I want our future generations to not be afraid of drowning in the tide of the future, to be left with knowledge and imagery from all their ancestors, a feeling of responsibility that comes with a sense of pride and freedom of where they came from, knowing that we did everything to make sure they can float and won't have to tread. This is my testimony. Are we ready to get swimming? Thank you.
Mahalo, Kalihi, thank you very much for that poem, and thank you very much for representing the state over this last year. Aloha mai kākou, my name is Travis Kaululā Thompson. I am from Kalihi, Honolulu, Oʻahu, Hawaii. Thank you for allowing me in this space. Welcome to the Maui Arts Cultural Center in Kahului, Maui. Today we are here to celebrate the voices of some incredible youth poets. 5 of them will be competing, 5 local poets will be competing for the title of the Hawaii State Youth Poet Laureate, and 4 regional Poet Laureate champions will be competing for the title of National Youth Poet Laureate. Standing next to me and co-hosting our show today is the National Director of the Youth Poet Laureate Program. Please put your hands together and welcome Camea Davis.
Hey, aloha. I'm Dr. Camea Davis, and I'd like to share a little bit about why we're all here today. The Youth Poet Laureate Program is a program of Urban Word, which celebrates young poets by focusing on 3 core pillars. The first is literary excellence, the second is civic engagement, and the third is social impact. The program is offered in over 35 cities across the United States, and the very first statewide Youth Poet Laureate Program was founded here in Hawaii. And we are really excited to be at the MACC today to celebrate all of our Youth Poet Laureates and to name the new State Youth Poet Laureates as well as the National Youth Poet Laureate. And to jump our time off today, we would like to hear from the national finalists with a group poem they wrote titled, She Said Her Name Was Joy.
I remember that girl from the playground.
Raised in cornfields,
painted like a still life,
Sitting crisscross applesauce.
She said her name was Joy.
I never liked dirt or soot or dirty things. She sang prayers to dug up worms.
Besides, all religion comes from the ground.
Taught me to tumble, to fall and laugh, to catch squirrels and make them queens. She said she used to do pageants, would always smile.
painted like a still life. I have long wanted to be one with my own light.
I ran away, she said, because I hated it.
Glittery sequined crowns,
Pretty pink pastels.
Pink poofy princess dresses.
I have donned so many draperies, and yet the view out my window is still truest unadorned.
I hated faking it, so I ran away, she said.
Now when I smile, I know it's real.
She was free and I was listening. She smelled like sugar and I felt rushed.
dazzled by technicolor, I hike up cobblestone paths, a girl raised in cornfields, journeying through the cement jungle, on the prowl for adventures and stories, stopping suddenly in front of a mango shop. I grab a menu, my eyes collide with pictures of mango ice cream, mango pudding, and a sago tapioca pearl. I could have had fresh mango desserts my whole life, instead of Twinkies and cupcakes so sweet.
I felt the sugar corrode my teeth.
When the waiter comes, I gasp in delight, surprised by the sago mango pudding.
Once, I opened my mouth to the sun and it scorched my tongue. Why did I think I could swallow the same star that lit up the sky and still see?
But I take a bite. It's fresh and sweet.
Sun rays from God.
Hong Kong's signature dish bursting at the mouth.
Shine on me.
Oops, I ate the sun.
And now the whole world's gone dark, and people can't look directly into my eyes.
Mother, I got my sunshine from you.
I'm only asking for you and me in the one-bedroom apartment, for the cactus to still stand after months of unwatering. Is it impossible, or can I survive the weight of my pain, hung over my right shoulder like a school bag, heavy enough to ache?
Back when pretty pink pastels latched onto my scabbing skin, Back then, I didn't mind the shedding of the top layer, revealing the soft flesh underneath. 'Cause winter was only survival.
I was a phoenix, rising from the ashes of who they thought a black girl from Philly could be.
We're all becoming new.
We sat in a circle, crisscross applesauce. I'd stand up and sing B-I-N-G-O with an emphasis on the N, 'cause nothing was gonna stop me from going after my dreams. My voice contains the kind of passion only fruit knows, sweet.
So refreshing that I swear my sad life of processed desserts flashes before my eyes. This is what food could be, she said.
Do you remember me?
My last memory of joy is standing in that snow-speckled driveway in my baby puffer with my dad.
The connection.
I didn't care much for the world that lingered beyond the sidewalk. Instead, I trailed after him, scattering snowflakes over the path he made so he would have to stay.
Finishing a mango, asking for another.
So I could still follow him. So the world could be small and sacred.
Joy is in the inhale, and freedom is holding your breath, just for the thrill.
Mahalo, mahalo, mahalo. Thank you so much for that incredible group poem. One of those wahine will be crowned the National Youth Poet Laureate for the entire country. All right, first up, we will be showing to you the 5 local youth poets who will be competing for the title of Hawaii State Youth Poet Laureate. So first amongst them, from Mililani, Oʻahu, 16-year-old Mika Hiroi. Make some noise for Mika.
Memories plunge down my throat and reach to tug bile from my belly, and it feels like the shadows of claws on my waist, feels like eyeballs bouncing slippery down my bare skin, feels like words unspoken, the blank-eyed smile that froze on me, the pleas that clung to cobweb fear between my lips. I was like a statue, milky marble to admire, a museum display, priceless, unmoving, and crumbling beneath the weight of history. History which drowns girls like me, girls taught to bend, soft as gold to the bite of your teeth upon metal glow skin. The chip, chip, chip of canines made me want to crack and send my mineral grains crashing down before you. You kissed poison rot into my swirling veins of sapphire, let my ichor slop thick and yellow onto the floor, robbing the bloody circle running around my craggy, jagged, stock-still, still rock heart. My glossy, unseeing eyes did not close when skin ran back and down my stone curves, crooked joints bumping each other in their hurry to smother the dog-heavy pant of alternatives. Vulnerable but veiled by despair, I watched you walk away. Your vile vandalization left vicious vermilion streaks varnished by strokes of slime from peeled grape eyes and from diamond tears, which dripped from brittle lashes and rolled down the bare monolith of my misery. I thought then, back to my birth in the quarry, the pit of my creation, and wished the mason had never carved me, never coaxed my form into existence. I hoped to crumble, to be pounded into my own tombstone, but really, I was more of a whetstone where you could sharpen your knives. But I refuse now to allow another grievance to wrap its thorns around me. I learned to release rigid rock. I learned to grow. I learned to gust and groan and break this stone. You wormed like twin snakes into my ears, but I am Hercules, and I know the imposter in the crib. I won't let another hidden villain crisscross my jaded body between their knuckles, whispering that it won't hurt when they curl into fists. I won't let venom lick my crimson, bulging brains and slip needles between the creases of thoughts like white water breaking my mind. I won't let myself be a frozen figure any longer. Instead, I'm a hurricane, and I can scream and shout and silence my doubt. The gale of my freedom is salvation for the wounded. I know because my Zephyr's soft hands lift them and teach them how to become gusts of their own. I can roll words now in the air of my tongue and know finally how it tastes to push away hook-like hands with my breath, shaky at first. Then a storm, tearing away my fear, my past, my pain, and whirling, billowing, filling the world. I'm stone no longer, never again, to be trapped in an obelisk like a remembrance to one already dead. Stone cannot hold me, that stone which is broken, weathered, unmoving, unthinking. I'm the wind, untouchable. Thank you.
Mahalo, Mika. Thank you very much for that poem. All right. Keeping it moving, next up onto the mic from Mililani, please put your hands together for 18-year-old Nicole Dow.
Star Song. My race won't say where I'm from, and I say this to mean that it won't tell you how many generations it's been since my family moved across the sea, or how much time it's taken to make it across. See, when I look back, it's the bindings that stop me, one great-grandmother proud of her bound feet, the other proud of her not bound feet. See, the stars incline us, they do not bind us. My race won't tell you that I wasn't made in China, not because of any place that took the motherland's place, but because I wasn't made. I fucking coalesced, neither created nor destroyed stardust, millions of years old. According to Christ, I was always meant to be, and according to Buddha, I never was. To think is to be, but thinking is not yet proof enough of my existence. I need to be damn near exploding, to be becoming, to have at least the illusion of permanence. But then, of course, I am permanent. See, the number 3 does not cease to exist when only counting to 2. But then who stops counting at 2 when there are so many stars left to find? The stars incline us. They do not bind us. And still, this is what palimpsestic means for my body, bumps of yellow pebbles beneath terracotta binding my bones like flesh. My race won't tell you how I am bound to the past, to the estuaries where the yellow river meets the sea, because my race won't tell you that I have learned the hard way that we are bound to each other, the same way the oceans are bound to each other. Step in a river once, and you'll feel the weight of all the water in the world behind it. The stars incline us, they do not bind us, and someday I know I will find us on the cusp of something so much wider than our eyes can see, and when the world collapses inwards like wind through a chime, we'll be here, seeing how time has collected in each of us as the stars blink out one by one by one. Thank you.
Mahalo, Nicole. Thank you very much. The stars incline us, they do not bind us. Okay. Coming up next from Kaka'ako, please put your hands together and give a great big Maui welcome to 16-year-old Ashley Jisoo Hong. Make some noise.
My people, inspired by Fatima Ashgar's If They Should Come For Us. These are my people, and I find them happily stuck indoors and talk through any conflict, all conflict. My people are my people. A dance of strangers in my blood, the new bride's hanbok flowing into milk. 2 new suns on our peachy cheeks. I claim her my kin and befriend the profile of her to my sweet conversation. The toddler running with big beeps, hair a knot and a bundle of smooth yarn. At the groceries, I claim them too. The heavily accented uncle on YouTube who enlightens all of us children with equations. Down the Christian man who abandons his errands for his family, drops to his knees at the call of help in need. And the American man who chugs good milkshakes at the start of country fairs, not hesitating to introduce themselves to new faces on the block like mine. The lone nerd at the library, comparing her emotions with objects, sitting with books as her companion, hoping to find her people to smile with. My people, I can't lose hope. When I see you, my passion is red and blue and blood. My passion, an immigrant teenager, crop top and black slacks, saluting 3 flags with respect, all greeting each other, with freedom from colonizing brothers. 안녕, hello, aloha, I claim them all. My world is made in all people's image, even reflecting those who come from different hometowns and ancestors. But if they hear my stomach growl and find out about your skipped lunch, they will all come home for me and you. In the rage of summer, an army of aunties step out on the lava land. Their grins crinkle to frowns. All their children grind their teeth as they listen to mothers talk about numbers, other aunties, and those women's specific numbers, and 1,000 words thicken the air. My people, I follow you like sheet music. We hear the ancestral chants clashing and uniting, and the night ceremonies reviving their lost voices. My people, I follow you like dictionaries. Test them with any tongue they follow, and engrave our names on this nation's list for the unification, my people. My people, the long years we've survived, the long years yet to come, I see you composing my music to serenade our families. Shout ahead, and I follow. I follow. Thank you.
Mahalo, Ashley. All of us have our people. I hope that all of you and each of us find them. From Kailua, Ko'olaupoko, Oʻahu, please put your hands together for 16-year-old Mia Peterson. Make some noise.
Hawaii is a poet. From the lush, living peaks of her mountains to the soft, sandy depths of her waters, she speaks in the salty summer tides and writes in the winds and sings the iwi. She storms with Kilauea and sleeps in Mauna Kea and dances in the warm, wet rain. Hawaii breathes stanzas into the ohia, mutters metaphors into the soil, and makes similes out of the sun and the stars. And like all good poets, Hawaii has an audience. Like her sweet, soft waterfalls into her winding rivers, she pours her oli into our eyes and our ears and our hearts. She teaches us with her sonnets and frees us with her free verses and loves us as we are. I was not born here, but in the years between being a little girl, learning to swim in salty waters, and becoming a woman whose words are as powerful as a weapon, she has reached to my soul and taught me to listen to her as she weeps. Hawaii is weeping. Hawaii cries as her red reservoir is poisoned, and with it her people. She sobs as her songs or forests are silenced or trampled. She shrieks as prophet is put before her centuries-old stanzas, as she watches as her lines or coastlines are erased or eroded. Hawaii begs us to hear, and it's time that we listen, for Hawaii is not the only poet. Our pens may not be coral reefs, and our ink isn't found in the feathers of native birds, but put to paper, but spoken together, we can save her. We must save her, because Hawaii is our poet. Thank you.
Thank you, Mia. The Aina speaks to us all. Okay. Coming up next is our last local Youth Poet Laureate finalist. So please give her all your energy. From Honolulu, Oʻahu, Hawaii, please make some noise for 18-year-old Corina Yee.
Obeyed with sugarcane for Hawaii plantation workers. In these fields, a glass lantern muffled like some prayer, we churn our labored teeth with blood as the virgin sky cracks open for the day. In the nothing distance, a sweet hymn for harvest, pigeon tongues dismiss homeland fantasies of what lived before this manufactured silence. Clean air, unfertilized soil, photographs of quaint picture brides traded for currency. Somehow, this was home all along, stretches of Pacific coastlines cupped in our lonely palms, a confession. See, home is only what we create of it, but creation is fragile. In these fields, we seek refuge in contracts the horsemen keep between their lips like fattened promises, swollen with fraud, listen to their sanitized demands for tobacco and gambling and anything else foreign, choke our tired mumbles. Nothing is hungrier than our own selves in these fields, indentured shadows slipping beneath us to escape daybreak. Here, when lanterns flicker into blackout, the only sound heard is a baby's wail, hushed and crooked in the same way his mother learned surrender for some rusted coins. A flock of sparrows harmonize above us, sing like men who chew on cane stalks stripped of leaves, and women who carry them for less. Every season, we cultivate a silent rebellion, overturning this earth, these imported hands. Thank you.
Yes. Wow, what incredible stories. And to continue in this lineage of great storytelling, we will next hear from Youth Poet Laureate alumni who are current students in the nation's only 4-year tuition program for hip hop, the first wave hip hop and urban arts learning community at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. It's a great thing for all of you to consider for yourselves in the future. And representing First Wave today, we have Adrian Cyrus, Grace Rural, and Zach Lesmeister. Give it up for First Wave in the building. Make some noise.
Ode to my father, the water he became. My 5 fingers embrace a spoon containing apple cinnamon oatmeal in hopes of delivering nutrients into my father's mouth. Patience ensues. My father's jaw nods at the strength it once was, and so patience ensues. Seinfeld on the television. Kramer is his favorite character. Laughter. His lungs a symphony of violins. I am here, it says. May I confirm, a missing protein in Baba's brain cannot deteriorate my family. The shower faucet sprinkles on Baba's skin as my fingers tickle soap beneath the pores. The foam converting a cloud that my father rubs away. May we breathe presence into our lost ones. It is okay to wish that they are still here, because on this day, I decide to show my father the sunset. Lotion enters my hand as I moisturize his heels. I guide father into his wheelchair, where I push our lifetime of memories into Lighthouse Beach. Years ago, here we built a sandcastle. The lifeguards are now gone. Residents leave one by one. Waves meditate on the ear, the two relaxed. I fade into sleep. My Baba grasps my hand and mutters, I love you. He releases himself from the wheelchair. His toes embark on the strength. Walking. He touches the blue liquid and cements his spirit into holy water.
Equity. In 2015, Fox News commentator Geraldo Rivera said, hip-hop has done more damage to young African Americans than racism in recent years. This country kill us than say our bones ain't decaying silently enough. It say we should stay cotton mouth quiet, but we vent through these vocals. Hip hop be where we put purpose to our pain and trust. There's magic in these words. See, when the beat drop, we rise. Our fallen ain't fail, they breathing through our pens, and this feeling is unmatched. This feeling is brought to you by adrenaline and good rap, and We don't sugarcoat the violence, the killing in our streets. We know you die from diabetes if we let newscasters tell it. They be orally armed to censor the bodily harm done to us, but hip-hop work harder to write it back into history. Every bass be where we find our breath, this rhythm be our resurrection. Woe to the men trusting in your chariot wisdom. It's no wonder you think hip-hop is damaging. It's got us believing we worthy, that we deserve to live in what is a black life, if not a threat to your white supremacy. If not a revolutionary ready to rewrite the rules, Geraldo. How bitter a pill it must be to swallow. To know you can't silence all this intergenerational joy. That no matter what you do to try and knock us down, we still gonna be all right.
What we hold, what we let go. One, from the camps, my uncle returns to us in a single bag. All he owned, marked by his refugee number sewn into burlap. In the warehouse, we search and find my grandmother's belongings reduced to piles of trash bags. There are no numbers. Each was a shadow I crack and tear through until brilliance, her aoyai refracting the tears of light. Each silver sequin a petal of jasmine frozen in time still. I smell her perfume, the ghost of it, clinging to silk. It's faint, like the sound of her voice. Grandmother, what you left behind, I take and do what you taught me to do with the lost. I dig, I remember. Names, numbers, the shadows, everything becomes in the dark, everything we keep this longing to. Nothing like war scares me. When I first came here, it was winter, St. Louis, snow everywhere. The sirens went off, loud, no crying, just like the bombs. Grab the children, pack the bags, we have to leave. The bombs, it's always the bombs, they follow everywhere. I thought we left everything in Vietnam, but the snow, they followed us here. The American radio says it's a tornado. Warning, what's a tornado? Are they here, the Americans? I mean, did they say how much time the wind gives us? Do we still run? Who sends the wind? Does it carry the bombs, or do they come after? Before the storm, or after? Do they say what comes after? 3, Choba Noi, for you, Grandma. Choba, for you. Ngơi, foreign.
Wow, 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 wow. Give it up for the poets. Up next, we will hear from our National Youth Poet Laureate finalists representing every region of the United States. Up first, representing the Midwestern region, from Indianapolis, Indiana, Charlotte Young. Clap, 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 clap.
Trade-offs. Part 1, Sparrows in Hokkien. I never went to my father's birthplace, but I sometimes dream of stale cave air mixing with the sweat dripping off my father's nose as he crawls through the dark. A game the villagers taught the children to play so that they would know where to run if the Americans dropped their bombs. My father slingshots sparrows out of the sky, a childish game that seemed like the brush of young cruelty until I learned that Mao ordered those birds to drop like rain. There was nothing to eat. My father took the fallen home. Part 2, Storied Trades. My family's history has flown away. All that remains are vague facts wrapped in imperfect memory, drifting down the eaves of the family tree, poor explanations for the imprint of genetic code. The expression of my genes tells me that my family traded telomeres for survival, memory for the present. There is very little to say about any branch that spindles beyond my grandparents. I can only guess what happened there, a collection of dreams scattering my sleep. In one version, my ancestors live, and my grandma isn't sold. In another, the Americans bomb China, and my father and grandparents are incinerated, their journey to Hong Kong never told. In this version, I am in a pandemic where I'm one of the few functioning well because suddenly everyone is in survival mode, and I am no longer mad. Here, I'm a poet, pen dripping memory, a volley of words resurrecting a history covered in weeds. Hand smearing ink as thoughts of friends trapped in missile-ridden lands, waiting for the next drone strike flicker past. Violence inks a new story, one that plays out in decades and centuries rather than the hours and years of war. Part 3, Inked PTSD. Last night, I dreamt of war. AK-47 against drone, Chairman Mao against sparrows. In my waking hours, I follow the path foretold in my genes. Rippling breath caught in throat as frozen numbness seeps into bones, ice swimming through veins, spreading through the rest of the body until there is nothing left to feel. Memories fall like a sparrow shedding feathers, impressions left to rest in the debris of oblivion as wings flap on, propelling the rest of the body forward in a blind scramble for survival. Now I carry a legacy my family barely remembers, paper trail and dust ashed somewhere in Hokkien and Hong Kong. Yet here in America, there is a reckoning in my voice. I lace together recollection and verse, case turmoil into art. Maybe this is the antidote for tossing history for life, poems cementing past beyond those inked in genes.
Wonderful. And now, representing the western region of the United States from Los Angeles, next coming to the stage is Salome Akbaroji. Make some noise, give it up for the poet.
BFR. You thought I deserved it? 'Cause I was taking my clothes off? What? You don't like it when I show a little skin? You get uncomfortable when black female rage exposes herself? Oh, that's cute. Just process my info. First name Black, last name Rage, charge public indecency. Hard to believe these charges to be something other than racially charged. The state compels Black female rage to cover up the C-section scar from birthing a nation, the scoliosis from then carrying it on our backs, the neck bruises from being choked out of innocence, stretch marks from growing into womanhood with an unnatural quickness, just to be at the top of this nation's most wanted list, posted in the precinct, everybody's bounty. The state implores Black female rage to cover up, though the Black woman's body has always been an exhibit, a document of prosecutory power. This body shows the crimes that your files don't record. Are these fingerprints evidence admissible of bodily conduct non-permissible? Or does my name make the testimony dismissible? Hard to believe these charges to be something other than a cover-up. When Black female rage publicly exposes herself, forget all sensible behavior. Because where there's smoke, there's a violence no Miranda rights can silence. There's a mother converting rent into coffins and painkillers. There's a Black girl begging to be beautiful. There's a woman that doesn't want to be woman any longer. There's a Black girl made the defendant with no one to defend her. There's a mother's son made into a pendant, leaving one lonely lamenter. There's a Black girl who solemnly swears her best to each breath, who's called indecent for the sky-reaching posture of her hair, for the display of her fleshy humanity, for a body that's basically asking for it. Why do you have me in this interrogation room if the only lips of mine you entertain are the ones between my legs? When Black female rage bears her arms, abandon all lawful discernment, 'cause real bodies ain't smooth. Real bodies tell stories. This body bleeds a sinful vindication, pleads the guilty of a nation in a tramp stamp on the lower back. This body on full display, so this body exists to be a felony, and this is surely not my final offense. So on that police report, write my name right. My name is not Black female aggression, or Black girl sass, or uppity Black, and it sure ain't angry Black woman. My name is underloved, undervalued, underpaid. My name is Black female rage, and You see how when I raise volume, I become deaf in your ears. Explains why only 1 out of every 15 black women raped reports her assault. Because who would believe sexual assault from the country's biggest sex symbol? A mammy or a Jezebel, the indecent, carnal criminal herself. I, your hostile witness.
Next, representing the southern United States, from Atlanta, Georgia, make some noise for Annika Egram.
A letter. For every stamp I've licked and locked on my skin, for every darling I've mailed myself to, imagine me, a letter, tucked inside a postbox, rubbing shoulders with birthday cards, tax notices, divorce papers, bank statements, rumbling down Interstate 75. The driver hums a lyric about love, and somewhere his wife mouths the chorus over her morning cup of coffee, and I'm sitting in the back of the truck, wondering if you will slice me open with a kitchen knife or tear me apart with your hands, if you'll hold me up to the sun, read these words in my voice or mouth them on your tongue. It's been months, dear, and I'm finally starting to understand. All we can do is ask, and the space between to and from is the answer. I was on the road for a long time. I watched a girl's torso split in two on Route 96, and the radio of her car sang between static. Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Well, sometimes our hopes get ahead of us. I knew, even when I draped myself in stationery, tattooed each line on my arms, that I was written in a language you did not understand. I didn't know how to translate my word for want, and of course, you were never the type to pull out a dictionary still. I keep wondering, if I had fashioned my font to fit your lettering, would you have been able to see me? I have only ever wanted a space on the fridge door for someone to hold me, like those old photos they cannot recall posing for, hung only to prove they were visible. I was on the road for a long time. I have traveled halfway across the world, and I am more illegible than I ever was. So how kind, when you've arrived at a doorstep and it doesn't let you in, for the mailman to tuck you back in his pocket, carry you past every stop sign you refused to surrender to. Return to sender, or untuck yourself from this envelope and read out your name from the front. Thank you.
And next, coming to the stage, our last national finalist representing the northeastern region of the United States, from Philadelphia, Sydney Brown. Clap, 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 clap it up.
Scrolling through my feed, liking pics I don't like, reading comments that make me wish I looked like that girl, I scroll deeper into my feed. I see parties I wasn't invited to, people who knew me that I don't recognize anymore. Tears scroll down my face, and I wish I could delete them all. But you can't swipe all your scars away. You'll just have to wait until they fade, because filters are making you question your own beauty. And is beauty even worth it if you don't believe it yourself? When your comments are filled with compliments, but compliments can't compensate for voids inside your heart. Voids that start to tear apart someone that you see in the mirror every day, but the image keeps getting foggier. and you can't wipe that fog away because you're afraid of what is left of you. A broken-hearted person on their feed. Wednesdays, I don't check it. But sometimes I forget, and I see spam after spam after spam. But I don't expect to see my face there. It's a feeling I've come to cope with. Loneliness. Don't apologize for not tagging me. You know what you did, and when you tag someone in the comments, it's really not the same. Now I scroll through my feed, and tears fill my eyes to the point where I can't see. And the only thing that's stopping me from being happy is my feed.
Wow, 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 wow. So we've heard from some incredible poets. And next, we will go into our segment where we will share who will serve in these roles for the next year. Up next, we will hear from the founder of the Youth Poet Laureate Program, Michael Sorelli.
What's up, y'all? Can we hear it for these incredible poets that touched the stage today? Thank y'all. Oh, and we actually have poets, organizers, organizations around the country that are watching this in the live stream right now in multiple time zones around the country and really around the world. So thank you all for being here. We got to give it up to our hosts, Travis and Dr. Davis. They stood for the whole show. And that's like a real metaphor because they are pillars of the communities that they come from. They've supported the work and impacted the work of thousands of young poets all over the country. So please give it up for our hosts. Thank you very much. I also want to thank our Urban Word staff. Our executive director, Chanel Gabriel, flew out here. The rest of our staff is in New York. And we even have a board member, Ted Jacobs, who flew out here from New York, from Maui. So give it up to the organization that helps to support this. And also, we can't be here without the incredible support of the Maui Arts and Cultural Center, who hosted this event. Please give it up for the MACC Center, especially Dr. Maura Persh, who invited us here, Stacy, and the incredible technical crew here that made this all work, that's allowing this to be streamed all over the country. Of course, Oh My First Wave, who hit the stage. Check out the University of Wisconsin. We got Youth Speaks family in the house. And to give you a little bit of context, the National Youth Poet Laureate Program is in over 70 cities and counties across the country. They're mostly in local places, and a few places like Hawaii, which was the first ever state that hosted a Youth Poet Laureate Program. And so right now we're in the middle of an initiative to name statewide Youth Poet Laureates so that young people across every state can apply to be part of this program. This was our pilot year. We were inspired by the work that Hawaii did. And so I get the pleasure of announcing our first state winners from a couple of our states. A couple of our states will be named later in the week. So it is my pleasure to announce these incredible Youth Poet Laureates from across these respective states. And I also want to honor the runners-up, too, so I'm going to announce them as well because the poets were so good. The judges were literally giving perfect scores to multiple poets, like the poets you saw here tonight. So I want to announce our California state winners first. The runners-up for California were Zoe Dorado, Sierra Leone Anderson, Chloe Chow, and Olivia Lay. And you can hold all the applause for the end. And the first ever California State Youth Poet Laureate, who's probably watching right now, is Delina Ugochukwu from Lancaster, California. Our next state that we're going to announce is Connecticut. The runners-up in Connecticut were Ziyi Yan, Athena Levine, Caitlin Chatterton, and Ria Saxena. And the first ever Connecticut Youth Poet Laureate is Mercury Lamb. The Kentucky Youth Poet Laureate runners-up were Myra Faisal and Des Levier, with the first ever Kentucky Youth Poet Laureate being Amy Roblero Perez. And the New York runner-up is Sabrina Guao, and the New York State Youth Poet Laureate, first ever, is Stephanie Pacheco. And last but not least, Tennessee, the runners-up are Melody DeLilly Issa Cruz, Sarah Anderson, Lachlan Cook, and Nyla Joy Spencer, with the first ever Tennessee Youth Poet Laureate being Angela Hu. So congratulations to y'all out there in the world watching this. Next year, our goal is to have about 30 states that will be on our path. We're doing like 10 this year, 20 next year, and 20 the year after that. And now we're at the point of the show where we get to see who is our next 2023 Hawaii Youth Poet Laureate and our 2023 National Youth Poet Laureate. And I can't think of a better person to announce them and come bless the stage. Brandy Nalani McDougall has been selected as the second Hawaii State Poet Laureate. Born and raised on Maui, McDougall is the author of 2 poetry collections. She's also a teacher and mother and has been an incredible mentor to Hawaii poets all over the state. So it is my great honor to close the show with our Poet Laureate of Hawaii, Brandy Nalini McDougall.
Aloha aina mai kako. Aloha Maui. Can you just give it up for all of the amazingness you've just heard today? Yeah, mahalo. I know everyone for sure here can feel it, but the electricity in the room that's been building up, we have thunder, we have lightning, we have rain, we have all the makings of a storm, and every poem that you've heard today are rocks and boulders that are building a mountain, okay? So mahalo, mahalo nui to all these amazing poets that we've heard from today, mahalo. It's my honor to be able to share a poem of my own. And speaking of mountains, speaking of Mauna, this one's called Aina Mauna. Aloha no e poli ahu lili noi wai au ka hopo kane mo o ina nea mo o I kipahulu Maui mamane ahina kalamoho o la li'i Iwa piliuka a hea pukeawe ma ohi noho anu o hello papa ena naio aku pamakani o hello lama ohi a anunu pa vale na e a ali'i ha kukai nene a ma'u palila a makihi a papane a lawa hio I iwi ele paio a kia pola au ua'u o pea kiwikiu nene me pueo. These islands are and always will be the nu'u of submerged Mauna, rising from and rooted in Moana, in Lipo. Because our Mauna are piko, between Honua and Lani, between Vai and Kai, between Po and Au, because our Mauna are kumu of air and water, of thick forests crowned with winds and mist, because our Mauna are akua, unraveling all storms. When you stand with Mauna Kea and Haleakala, your breath becomes a warm mist carried by cold winds. The Mauna teach you to rise, how to become au hiva. You hover, swallow seeds, ice seeds, until full, descend with thunder, lightning, rain, falling, and rising again. True that the whole world depends on native bodies eating stones, linking arms to entangle our roots to face their guns, hoses, tear gas, tasers, batons, dogs, and prisons, to stop their bombs, bulldozers, pipelines, saws, earth diggers, drills, cranes, toxic dumps, and spills. A thin line of native bodies is often all there is, and yet we are as immovable as Mauna. 2019, there have now been 5 generations of Kanaka Oiwi protecting the malu of Aina Mauna. They saw thousands of us aloha aina, kapu aloha, Shout. Kukia imauna. Kukia imauna. Kukia imauna. But there were thousands and thousands and thousands more behind us that they couldn't see. And there will be thousands and thousands more of us to come. Mahalo. So I have the tremendous honor of announcing the Hawaii State Poet Laureate, the Youth Hawaii Poet Laureate. Oh, Kalamai. Sorry. Let me go ahead and invite the poets to the stage first. I'm sorry about that. Welcome them, please. Go ahead and give it up for these amazing poets who shared their words with you earlier. Aloha. Mahalo. Okay. Okay. I'll start that again. Now it's my tremendous honor to be able to read this year's Hawaii Youth Poet Laureate, Karina Yee. Please give it up for Karina Yee. Woohoo! Congratulations. You can just stand here. Yeah. Okay. It's also my privilege to be able to share the U.S. National Youth Poet Laureate for 2023, Salome Agbaroji. Woohoo! Ho'omaika iloa. Aloha.
All right, we would like to celebrate these two, but understanding they represent a community, a country of amazing poets. So let's give it up for all the young people that shared the stage today. Yes, 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 yes. And we would like to say thank you to everyone here on Maui. Thank you to everyone streaming this event. And mahalo. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, everybody here. Lokelani, thank you for being the best audience ever. We love you. Congratulations, Karina. Congratulations, Salome. Thank you guys so much. Can I have our audience make some noise for all of the...
Thank you.